Welcome back, Alexandrian Codex. Part-time import, Kaiserreich, Combined Syndicates of America. The interim president, on the final day of the Congress, John Silas Reed, better known as Jack Reed, announced he would be stepping down as leader of the country. Rumors of his deteriorating health were kept away from the press, a gentleman's agreement of sorts. Jack Reed proclaims he will spend his remaining time with his wife, Louise, and his daughter. Moreover, Reed emphasized his role was now to see the country through to the revolution, but a new leader needs to lead it. Of the attendees of the Congress, two have gained the most prominence. One is Elizabeth Gurley Flynn of the IWW, who has begun a national campaign to excite voters for a possible female president, namely herself. The other is Norton Thomas, who's led SPA delegates to work with Social Democrats to pledge votes to him. This is an understanding that even though the position of leadership is interim until the election, it will still allow either president to exert a great deal of influence over the country's groundwork. So we can have American Federation of Labor or the Industrial Workers of the World become our prevailing power. The Federation of Labor are radical socialists. Let's just go with syndicalists because they're already the most popular. The higher your party popularity and the more daily political power you get, that's very, very important. Elizabeth Gurley Flynn will take the position. At a dusty underground socialist club in Harlem, Elizabeth Flynn's life as an advocate began. An early organizer for the Industrial Workers of the World in New Jersey, Flynn felt that the blunt of political wrath against forming trade unions and was arrested 10 times. Flynn helped form the ACLU, which organized legal defense for strikers in the days before international labor defense. In the lead-up to the Civil War, she helped organize a longshoremen's strike at the West Coast. Flynn's wartime speeches in the Central Committee to encourage conscription made her stand out in numerous conscientious objectors in the committee. Ultimately, Flynn was elected to lead America as a shocking dark horse candidate. Some thought it absurd that a woman would stand at the forefront of the revolution, but the rebel girl herself had been at the spearhead all along, fighting since the founding of the movement, now ready to build up a socialist America of her dreams. First name of the Cuban guy is Antonio. Tony. T-Dog, if you will. Okay, so the best flavor is all over here, but to stop these stupid fucking bombings, we have to go down the rebuilding the country tree immediately. The Great American Revolution is over, but unless something is done, the wounds we've torn open in this country will continue to fester and bleed. We must work with haste to build up the egalitarian, equal, and enduring America from the ruins of the old. Gotta love them wobblies. Yeah, these are all real people. Elizabeth Flynn was an amazing woman.
Listen up.
Tell you what, you actually get assigned to that. Great. Ah, shit! They're researching crossing the border. 9! 999. I do not like it. Do not like it. Okay. Do I really need any more divisions? Not right now. Okay, I need, what, 16 more? Yeah. Yeah, cancel. 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 How are we doing on production? We are upgrading. That's great news. That is fantastic news. I'll tell you why that's fantastic news. Because I want to be upgrading all of these. If we're upgrading, that means we have more than enough equipment. Yeah, we have 8,000 surplus units. Beautiful. Beautiful. Again, the Canadians have a sizable army, 76,000, or 76 divisions at the most. We have more than that. Many more than that. But quality is the deciding factor. And it is a deciding factor. Okay. Partial mobilization is really important, but we would have to be at war for that. We're volunteer only. Let's go to limited conscription just to start getting more manpower. We don't immediately need it, but you don't get that manpower immediately. It starts trickling in. Fuck you. Don't do it. Don't invade me, dog. So this is tricky. We're going to have to beat back New England, which is going to be a pain in the ass. Federalist bombing. Canadian intervention looming. Too frightened at the prospect of a syndicalist America sitting on their doorstep, the Canadians to the north, along with their British masters, are currently preparing an intervention. We cannot prevent it from happening, but we believe it might be possible to delay. If we were to quietly contact and fund Canadian labor movements, get them to rise up in strikes that have obvious syndicalist connections, Canadians might be too paranoid to take action until strikes are shut down. It would at most buy us a few months if we keep it up. Otherwise, we should prepare to face an invasion from the north soon.
Orders.
Oh, good, because, you know, who needs peace? Who needs any sort of respite? Okay, I want you all to carefully execute battle plans. No, I don't. I want this to be quick because the real issue that we're going to run into is naval landings over here and over here. I have enough troops to man the front line. I do not. Let's just go ahead and throw these all in right now. I do not, however, have enough to man the front lines and the coasts. And that will rapidly become apparent. So I want you to do convoy raiding all along here. At least try to protect that a little bit. As far as air forces go, okay, you get deployed to that, 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 and you, I guess, only get 25. Sorry, that's all I can do. That's all I got, champ. Air superiority is definitely on their side. Wow, no. We have overwhelming air superiority. We have more military factories, we have more manpower. This is just a time game, really. The longer I have until this war starts, the better we'll do. Okay, orders. You have orders. Yeah. You need orders. I want you to push up and retake this.
Ready to move.
I want you to... You're just in Montana, right? Push up through here. Just through here? Let's see. No, push up through here. Move in that direction.
Ready.
You are gonna take Upper Ontario. Right, this is, yeah, Northern Ontario.
Listen up.
You have the hardest job. Frankly, I want you to push through all the way through Quebec. Now, the war ends pretty quickly if we get Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal. Pretty quickly. However, we have to get there, and I don't know, I'm not super optimistic about our ability to do it right now. Tell you what, that's actually a really good point. Because that is the most important front, I'm putting all the planes under Ollie Boy. All of the Air Force will be concentrated here on this, because that's the most important front. This matters. Victoria and Vancouver, Prince George, every victory point that we can get matters, but Ottawa is the big one. And also beating the New Englanders is going to be tricky as well, because they throw in another 14 divisions. Again, we have more than that, but we also need to consider volunteers coming from Australia, from the West Indies, from from the French Republic, from Portugal, from the Dominion of India, from Sardinia and Corsica. We need more outside wars to drag their attention away, and it's just not going to happen. I need 50 political power to delay Canadian intervention, and I'm not going to get that. I don't think I'm going to get that in time. Paul Robeson takes a world tour. The hiatus Paul Robeson took from acting to pursue social causes in the past year has greatly expanded his popularity. With a powerful voice and standing support for international syndicalism, Robeson has become the Marian Anderson of socialists in America. Just like Anderson before him, he's chosen to embark on a world tour to spread his music and support for African American rights to Europe. His stops include the Union of Britain, Commune of France, and the SRI. These European audiences, while in contact with the wider world, still find the attraction of black singers to be exotic. Yeah. We're not in great shape. We are not at all in great shape. And I don't think I'll be able to push this back, unfortunately. Our stability is just so low that it's really hurting our political power gain. I guess if I stopped this immediately, we might have a little bit of a chance, but I think we're just gonna have to fight.
Ready to move.
Yeah, we'll start training reinforcements, but they are a low priority. Really, what I'm more concerned with is improving the quality of our troops, not so much the quantity of our troops. There they go! We backed them all the way at the beginning of the game, and our progressive friends in China finally bit the dust. That's a shame. Now, early on in this war, we'll probably get support from Union of Britain, Commune of France, all that, but their own war with Germany is not too far away, so that war, or that assistance will probably evaporate. I hate to see. Integrated support is fine, but not really huge. Support combat teams, again, not really huge yet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and assign...
Listen up.
You know what? Can I do this? Well, you require infantry equipment? Why? Oh, of course you do. Of course you do. Hold on. Get rid of all those.
Ready, sir.
Hey kids, guess what? We're Revolutionary Guard now. We're all Revolutionary Armies. All of us. Now, you'll see they're all defaulting to green, so they're not super trained, and this is going to make early on really rough for us, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Go ahead and get that entrenchment speed you've been looking at for a while. Yeah, I need a lot of artillery. Oh, no I don't. I need some artillery. I need a lot of infantry equipment. We are good on artillery, so I'll just knock that down and prop that up. Okay. How long is recording going today? It's been 2.5 hours, it looks like. Yesterday, I think I went for 5-ish hours, 4.5, 5 hours. Now, these are ahead of time, but I don't care, because quality is going to become immensely important moving forward. While maintaining and improving reliability of machine guns, we can also experiment with higher firing rates to ensure lethality of a constant stream of bullets. So, that decision is now available to them, they just aren't taking it. Which is great. Rebuilding the country. See, I could do something like go for Protect the Revolution, which would give us political power. We could use that political power to push back them intervening, and honestly, that might be worth it. But going for Begin Reconstruction helps us deal with these fucking events that keep firing off. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, right now what we need to do is just keep producing, so getting this political power is probably the way to go. Maintaining and protecting the spirit of the revolution will be vital in the coming years. We face enormous outside pressure from reactionary powers around the world, sabotage from dissidents within our own nation, and strife of factionalism even amongst our leadership. Our will isn't broken yet, and the struggle continues. Oh boy. Yeah, I think this is the right choice. The more time I can spend improving our armies, the better. The, the longer I can put off this fight, the better, because they may get events that force them to go to war over here or go to war with somebody else first, and any diverted attention would be beautiful. Now, normally a big part of the advantage you have is the CSA, or a combined Commonwealth of America, or a combined syndicalist, or whatever you end up as, is that your troops have a decent amount of experience, especially the ones that fought through the entire war. However, they do have some experience from fighting in Australia, so it's not like we're going against total wimps here. Primer of God Save King Billy. Today, Charlie Chaplin has premiered another movie titled, oh, premiere! This should say premiere. No, that's primer. Premiere has an I in it. Titled God Save King Billy, which has quickly received glowing reviews within the press. God Save King Billy is a political satirical comedy drama and Chaplin's first true sound film. The film follows two principal characters, an unnamed German barber struggling to make ends meet in Germany who bears a great deal of similarity with the tramp that Chaplin played in his other movies. The other major character is King Billy, who's a cruel but ineffective buffoon of a leader, an obvious satire of King Wilhelm II. Throughout the film, it shows the plight of the average German worker while viciously mocking the German government and Kaiser in particular. The film ends with the barber being mistaken for King Billy and giving a rousing speech where he extols the virtues of goodwill and human brotherhood and gives a strong endorsement for Chaplin's socialist views. Chaplin has outdone himself. Low manpower? Yeah, you're telling me, game. I am very well aware. Low supplies and low manpower. Best of both worlds. Okay. More fighting in China, though they do actually seem to be sort of unifying. Yeah, guaranteeing the Philippines was a fucking mistake. Landing craft are done just in time to not ever need them. Improving infantry equipment. More important, personal and crew-served weapons for infantry, as well as various other bits of kit a soldier needs, improved weapon models, and more specialized equipment. Wow, this is... neither of these are full sentences. Hey, another bombing. I'm not reading through the text on all the bombings. You get it by now. They are ceaseless and annoying and just go on forever. Hey, we're delaying the Canadian intervention, which gives them this, crippling strikes. So for the next 2 months, they will have -10 stability, -20 construction speed, -20 factory speed, -20 dockyard output. If we can just keep piling on political power, we can just keep hitting them with this and putting off. I think this prevents them from attacking. I don't know if it does, but the description made it sound like it did. The fall of Burgos. Oh no. Comrades, no. Oh wait, Barcelona's your capital, but you're still not doing well. Reports from Burgos confirm the Carlist temporary capital has been captured by advancing Spanish troops after skirmishes in the countryside. Carlist forces put up a stiff resistance, hoping to delay Spanish forces for as long as possible, but were eventually beaten back. Castilians fleeing north to the Basque coast tearfully describe seeing their homeland burning and ravaged by this fraternal war, and Spanish soldiers even committing atrocities on their own people. Rumors state King Javier was escorted out with a flow of refugees by Carlist militia, but his destination remains unknown. Many hope Carlist Spain might continue fighting in the hostile Iberian Central Plateau to protect other strongholds. Rename the bombing events to IRA, but bad, yeah. That's effectively what there are. There's no endgame to it. It just tanks your stability and war support and slows down recovery a lot. Yes! No, that was the wrong one. I thought they declared war on the Dominion of India and I was really hype. Fuck. Damn it. Because that really would have distracted Canada for a while. No, that's fine. I'll just sit here in terrified anticipation. Every day that the war gets put off is a small victory for me. Alright, advanced machine tools. Automated machine tools using servo mechanisms have been discussed before. Putting these ideas into practice while making other advancements in automation, such as computers. Improve that production efficiency which we are needing. Right now we're being really hurt by the economic devastation from the Civil War, and while I would like to focus on tackling that, it's more important to me to just hoard manpower right now, or political power right now. The Catholic Workers' Movement. While a good number of religious Americans have protested the effects of the revolution, this is not true for all groups. Of these groups, the one that has attracted the most attention and popularity recently, the Catholic Workers' Movement. Led by Comrade Dorothy Day, the movement has attracted popularity for combining Catholicism with socialist values. They focus on the concept of works of mercy, as well as have built a number of hospitality houses in major cities. Hospitality houses are acting as support shelters for those trying to return to civilian life now that the revolution has come to fruition. Dorothy Day was an American journalist, socialist, social activist, Christian anarchist, and Catholic convert. She initially lived a bohemian lifestyle before gaining public attention as a social activist after her conversion. She was a political radical, perhaps best known radical in the American Catholic Church histories. American Catholic Church history. Day's conversion is described in her autobiography, The Long Loneliness. She was also an active journalist, described her social activism in her writings. In 1917, she was imprisoned as a member of suffragist Alice Paul's nonviolent Silent Sentinels. In 1930s, Day worked closely with fellow activist Peter Morin to establish the Catholic Worker Movement, a pacifist movement that combined direct aid for the poor and homeless with nonviolent direct action on their behalf. She practiced civil disobedience, which led to additional arrests in 1955, 57, and 73 at the age of 75. As part of the Catholic Worker Movement, Day co-founded the Catholic Worker newspaper in 1933 and served as its editor from 1933 until her death in 1980. In this newspaper, she advocated the Catholic economy of distributism, which she considered a third way between capitalism and socialism. Pope Benedict XVI, that's 16, right? Yeah, 16, used her conversion story as an example of how to journey towards faith in a secularized environment. In an address before the United States Congress, Pope Francis included her in a list of 4 exemplary Americans who built a better future. The Church has opened the case for Day's possible canonization, which was accepted by the Holy See for investigation. For that reason, the Church refers to her with the title Servant of God. Holy shit, what a badass lady! That's incredible! Dang! When you're such a good socialist, the Pope wants to make you a saint. Beautiful. That's quite a life story. I'm just checking out these bonuses. That's good, that's good. Quebec in flames. This idea has no effect, but as a marker for the states of events, the state effects in Quebec, which reduce resources and local manpower. Alright, cool. So they don't actually have any bonuses to their troops right now. They have no organization bonuses. They have no anything bonuses. Whereas we have, oh god, that's horrible. We have, that's bad. Wow, we just have penalties. We have penalties across the board. The overwhelming federal and longest resistance is destroying our organization. Great, great. She lived a long time. Yeah, this is part of why I wanted to play back over this and at least pause and take a moment to read over the people that are mentioned, because when we are taught about United States history, the history of progressive, socialist, anarchist, Marxist movements in this country are swept over and hidden. They're obfuscated. They are not talked about and not acknowledged. When we think about the United States and we learn about the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we don't talk about the strikes, the general actions, the unions, the massive, massive, beautiful work put into trying to make this country a better place for workers and for vulnerable peoples. But it did happen. These movements, we have a lineage of these movements in the United States. We have a history here. Socialism, democratic socialism, or real socialism, or Marxism, or whatever else is not new. These are not new movements in this country. The youth rediscovering these things today, it's empowering to remember we have a lineage. We have a history here. It is just as American, if not more American, to embody socialist values than it is to adhere to republicanism, to liberalism, to capitalism, or any other school of thought. Yeah. Yeah, syndicalism too. Yeah, all the goodisms. Okay, stability. Fuck. None of these are gonna give me political power. This would give me political power later. So yeah, okay, I'm just going for political power right now. I kept talking about how important this is, but if for any amount of time we can push off this war, I'm gonna do it. Protect the working class. While many new ideas for a better economic system have existed, in theory, in America, the turmoil of the Civil War made putting any of them into practice a difficult endeavor. Now, though, we have an ample time and opportunity to build a working man's democracy through amendments protecting workers' rights. Now, we could move up to partial mobilization, and Lord knows I want to. But no, we're holding on to this. We are banking this political power to protect us against Canada. In so much that I assume that this protects us against Canada because that's what it says on the tin, so I'm gonna trust it. Yeah, and it gets more expensive every time you use it, so... Yeah. Yeah, we need to read up on labor movements, absolutely, and just remind each other of these amazing people who laid down a lot of groundwork for us. History tells us what's possible in a lot of ways. And if we let plutocrats and plutocrats and capitalists and owners tell us what's possible, of course people are going to say, well, voting third party doesn't work. Well, you know, I'd like to protest, but it doesn't do anything. Or, yeah, I don't know, I'm uncomfortable with the idea of going on a strike or whatever else because, you know, it doesn't do anything. They're just going to do whatever. We need to attack those ideas and address those ideas and encourage people who are feeling that disheartened, dispirited, and saying, no, that's the only way that anything actually gets done. Anything else is just breadcrumbs. Today, the film Grapes of Wrath premiered in theaters. Today, the film Grapes of Wrath premiered in theaters today. Okay, a little unnecessary, but the film is based on the book of the same name by acclaimed patriotic author John Steinbeck. Follows the story of Jodes, a family from Oklahoma, and their troubles during the Depression prior to the Revolution. The story illustrates the weight that federally enforced capitalism puts onto their average lives and drags their traditional values through the mud of reality. The movie does deviate from the book with an ending of a much more optimistic tone, showing the family working for the revolution to overthrow their California work camp. The titular Tom Joad chooses to stay with his family instead of fleeing into the night, declaring his intention to set up a Red Guard in California to reclaim his farm in Oklahoma. The film has been well regarded by both critics and the public as a necessary edit. I'm okay with protesting, but bad man shouldn't kneel. Yeah. It's very silly. It's very silly. Man, being on Twitter today has been a trip, with Bernie doing what Bernie did last time and being a very soft-hearted man, endorsing Biden, and all the progressives I follow on Twitter are like, okay, I'm still not voting for him. Like, no, Bernie was the compromise. Like, nah, pass, big pass on Biden. Not gonna do it. Like, it's cool that he wants other Democrats to do it, but most of us aren't Democrats. Hey, delay Canadian intervention. Fuck you. Now it's gonna cost... Ooh, now I can't do it anymore. Well, okay, doubling down on this was maybe not a good idea then. Fuck. Okay, well, stability won't hurt. I want to... What do I want to get rid of the most here? These longest resistance, federal resistance, I want to get rid of. Yeah, because that's hurting our organization. That's what's most important. I want to kill that anyway. I'm once again asking you to vote for the Republican that beat me up due to the ignorance of the common man. Yeah. They won! The Ottomans, well, mostly won. They're still up against Iran, but big Ottoman Empire. Yeah. I mean, that's the danger of electoralism, is even if we have a really great candidate, the structures are set up so that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there is a candidate who's amazing who only gets 30% of the vote, 35% of the vote, unless you're getting 51% of the vote, it just doesn't matter. And so the political machines and the party machines of institutions like the DNC are going to stop any sufficiently progressive candidate from actually getting nominated. Yeah. Yeah, this is very clean compared to how it normally looks. But I don't know, Iran punches really hard for its weight in this game. Sad day in Barcelona. Reports from Barcelona confirm Spanish Red Army that this Red Spanish city has been captured by advancing Spanish troops after staged fights across the Sierra de Serra de Colserola mountain range. Red Spanish, I don't know why that's so hard for me to say, put up a stiff resistance hoping to delay Spanish forces for as long as possible, but were eventually beaten back. There were reports of long urban fights into the Gothic quarter of Barcelona, sparse fighting along the Barcelonian Riviera. The same Riviera was the site of a long and luxurious parade by the Spanish troops as they marched along sunny beaches, a clear symbol that the Kingdom of Spain has taken control of the Catalonian city. It's not good for France. Not good for France at all. It's kind of a testament to the strength of unions if you think of the DNC as a kind of union. It's not really a union so much as, oh, thank God, this is available again. Okay. So much as a, it's more like a business, really, the way it's set up. It's definitely it's a non-profit. The non-profit industries in the United States are just horrifying in how much of a band-aid they are over how bad capitalism is for us. It's astonishing. Like, so many social services are covered just by the whims of rich people and their donors and volunteers. It's just like, hey man, what if we put all that money and time and manpower into I don't know, just institutionalizing taking care of people instead of depending on the whims of the rich. Since 1916, the National Park Service Act, Americans have been able to preserve natural splendor safe from industrialization. Since the revolution has now been achieved, a movement has cropped up to combine this conservationism with old progressive ideals. A number of new national parks have been created on top of the houses of capitalism, as well as a People's Conservation Committee to guide their preservation. A top priority for the PCC is to replant. PCC is really funny. That's the name of a grocery store chain here in Seattle. Is to replant trees in the Midwest, the source of the dust storms that threaten our food supply. Though it took a lot of convincing to get Congress to fund the project, the PCC hopes that in a few years the dust storms that used to reach DC will only be a memory. And it puts people to work for boot. Okay, so we can still focus on political power for now. Okay, y'all are really reinforcing, huh? Oh god. Okay, just one artillery then. Oh god, I need so many more military factories. It's nowhere near funny. It's just stupid. No, just keep doing this, I guess. Slow going, and I'm very impatient. Just want to bounce back. Okay, okay. Are any of these gonna get political powers? This is my last opportunity to just kick it down the road. Yep, this is it. Well, the Revolutionary Committee would give us political power, and this would too, but that's gonna take too long to research. This takes 50 days, gives us 100, which is enough. Craft Union Committee. Reforming the capitalist system will be a Herculean task, and it can't merely be wished away with state quotas and economic plans. Congress now begins assembling local representatives of craft unions in order to determine the best fit for economic growth while protecting professional workers from obsolescence.
Yes, sir.
Now, at a certain point, if you have a certain number of troops, it will scare off the Canadian AI and they will not attack. I think we may have enough troops right now to accomplish that goal, but, you know, don't quote me on that. Oh my god, we need so much more infantry equipment. At 100 a day, it will take 2 years. Well, a little less than 2 years for us to rearm our
Attention.
army. Now, the reason we're having this problem is we went from Red Guard, which are just militia. Oh, hey, it's another bombing. To, and I wish you could have multiples of these open at once to compare them, but you can't. So we went from this to this. We have more HP now, higher organization, slower recovery rate, better suppression, heavier weight, more supply use. We almost doubled the supply use. Soft attack is almost twice as high. Hard attack is almost twice as high. Defense is higher. Breakthrough is higher. We have piercing, whereas we didn't have any before. Combat width is the same. Same amount of manpower. 3 times the training time. And the equipment necessary is more than doubled. But in most capacities, these units are twice as good as what we had before. Can't you shift quick? Maybe. No. It is not letting me open multiple windows. It's weird. I feel like I remember a way of doing it. I think if I had 2 divisions in here, I could click on here and then click on here, and I could compare them that way. But because all of these are the same type of division, I can't do that. It's really weird that there isn't an easier way to compare them. So I'll be honest, post-Civil War United States in this mod is slow, very slow. It takes years, years and years and years for us to get up to the point where we can go on the offensive again. Recovering from this war is going to take a long time. Well, there goes the Philippines, to no one's surprise. China's on fire. France and Germany aren't attacking each other yet. I'm a little concerned for France because I think the Kingdom of Spain will join the Reich Pact eventually. Bad for France. Very bad for France. Ah, yeah, and you went national populist. So Russia is already eaten up Alash Orda here. That's what you are, right? Right, I'm not making that up. Alash Orda starts... Yeah, the Turkestan Khanate and... Yeah, Alash Orda have both been eaten up, and you might move on the Don Kuban Union, but I don't know. Revolutionary memorials. With the revolution now over, countless memorials have gone up throughout the country to honor the sacrifices of the men and women who made it possible. While many honor those that fought for the revolution itself, there are also those honoring the struggles like the Haymarket Square riot. As these memorials were made by the community, nobody was there to check whether the statue was appropriate until the press got a hold of the story. Apparently, the statues erected honoring 1916 Preparedness Day bombing and the 1920 Wall Street bombing. Press claim erroneously that the government approved of these memorials and are honoring the bombers. Statues were silently taken down, and an official policy apology was forced out of the city councils responsible for the mean-spirited action. Well, we get war support, lose a little bit of political power, which you hate to see right now. Another Federalist bombing. Yeah, it's just emphasizing why it's so damn important to take those focuses early on. But because I'm terrified of Canada, I'm more interested in trying to buoy our political power. Let's see, can I see what kind of divisions you have? So, it looks like they have 3 to 9 infantry in this stack, which is more or less equivalent to what we're running. Yeah. Yeah, these are pretty standard unit sizes, so I wouldn't be surprised. In Mexico, can you, like, fuck off? Go... Get off of the border, man. I don't like what I'm seeing there. Do I have... Oh, man, Canada took the Panama Canal, too. Gross. And they have Puerto Rico. Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. This is gonna be a long war when it finally happens. Oh, hey, delay Canadian intervention. And this lasts for, what, another 2 months? Yep, until October. Well, if nothing else, it's hurting them. And that's very nice. Car with Spain has capitulated. It looks like the Kingdom of Spain has won the Spanish Civil War. Which is surprising. They started off doing quite poorly. Oh my god, Bulgaria. Oh, buddy. You're getting gutted. Just gutted. Hard to tell who's winning here. I assume the Ottomans will end up winning in the long run. Okay, there's that political power. Yeah, let's begin reconstruction. The Civil War has blasted our country to pieces. Large parts of the rural country are naught but mud and ash, while countless cities have been reduced to smoldering rubble. We shall set to work developing new housing and infrastructure as soon as possible. So this gives us partial recovery from the Civil War, more recruitable population, higher stability, higher war support. It's not crazy, but it's a step in the right direction. Oh, we're not liberating Canada yet, but we will. Probably after they start the war. Spanish Civil War is ended. Spanish Civil War is finally over, and it seems the Kingdom of Spain has emerged triumphant. Much of the countryside lies in ruins, and order has not been completely restored, but the Spanish government announced that the anarchist and syndicalist threat has finally been dealt with, and will likely be unable to rise again anytime soon. This is a triumph for King Alfonso XIII, though the king is unlikely to know of it, having fallen into a coma shortly before the Civil War broke out. It's been a long coma. We'll liberate Canada, but it'll take years if I'm the one to start the war. If they start the war, well, you know, we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm just trying to deal with this. Trying to deal with this problem. 1939 Convention of the Industrial Workers of the World. Today marks the 1939 Convention of the IWW. While there are many things to discuss at the convention, the biggest is whom shall the workers pick to represent the IWW in the 1940 presidential election. The main nominees are Elizabeth Gurley Flynn, James P. Cannon, and Arturo Giovattini. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. Elizabeth gives us daily political power gain and factory output. That is pretty good. James P. Cannon would give us just daily political power gain. Now, twice what we're getting now, but that factory output is incredibly important. Arturo would ruin our construction speed, and would give us a little bit more daily political power gain. So I'm gonna go with Elizabeth. Very easy choice there. I mean, it's kind of an easy choice. That political power we could be getting is incredibly important. Now, it may be, as I'm not seeing the event available up here anymore, it may be that that's the last strike we can launch against Canada. But I'm still going to hold on to this political power just in case I'm wrong. Yeah, we are beautiful, beautiful syndicalist, mostly syndicalist Commonwealth of America. 1939 Convention of the American Federation of Labor. Today marks the 1939 Convention of the AFL. While there are many things to discuss, who are they going to pick? We have a choice between Meyer London, who, let's scroll down to Meyer, lots of political power gain. Upton Sinclair, my boy Upton, where are you? Upton? Am I blind? Not seeing Upton Sinclair in here. Or Norman Thomas. Hey, Eugene Debs is in here. Oh no, it's Eugene Dennis. I got very excited there for a second. You fooled me. I'm gonna go with Upton Sinclair. We're not picking him. We're sticking with Elizabeth. There are no gulags. If you go with totalist, there are gulags. But we're just syndicalists. We just unionize everything. We're not Stalinists or Maoists here. We re-educate people through work programs, but that's the most monka thing we've done so far. Motorized troops are well and good, but lead to offensives. We need infantry to ride into battle in armored transports, which can protect them and carry heavy weapons. Now, this kind of sucks. Right now, it just helps armor and tank variants, and we don't have any of those. But after mechanized offensive, we start getting some much better things. No gulag makes me sad. Hey, we haven't run into those events. We may yet. In the Reconstruction chain, we'll run into that. Okay, interesting. So the French Republic, which is part of the Entente, has declared war on the Commune of France, who is not at war with Germany yet. Though they're about to be because they're defending Alsace-Lorraine. So that means Canada has been pulled into a war with the Union of Britain and Commune of France. So their attention should go there rather than here, which is amazing and gives me time to recover. So yeah, I'm gonna take the risk here and just go with partial mobilization. We don't have Guantanamo. We could have taken Guantanamo, but instead I just puppeted Cuba. So, you know, we sort of have just all of Cuba. Cuba decided to fuck around and sabotage our industry, and no. New England is a puppet state of Canada. We'll be addressing that shortly. Don't worry about it. We'll take back rightful American land soon. Well, soon I say. It will be a couple of years probably. Infrastructural expenses can be lowered by adapting networks to a more focused industry. More factories per state, factory output boost. Very good. The Canadians will probably get exhausted by this war, which is great. It's when they're preoccupied trying to retake the home islands, we just swoop in and take Canada. Because a lot of these troops, we can see, are already moving, that were assigned to this front. The AI are now going, wow, shit, we don't need to keep all of these people on the border. It's more important to go deal with this. Yeah. Execute Tom Brady. Is Tom Brady born yet? No, right? No. Tom Brady's not, what, like 80? It'll be a few years. Fate of the Boy Scouts. A question has come up in regards to the Boy Scouts of America. Some within Congress regard it as a more reactionary organization, notable for including a pledge that scouts are loyal to their employers in the days before the Revolution, and among other issues. To that end, a number within Congress believe that a new pioneer organization should be created similar to the ones in socialist countries in Europe, called the Pioneers of America. Unlike the Boy Scouts, this organization will be for both boys and girls, supported by the government, and helps to make sure new socialist ideas are passed down. So if we leave it alone, we get stability, which we're desperately in need of, but nah, let's create the Pioneers of America, because I was a Boy Scout, and nobody should ever go through that. That was a very weird organization. And now the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts of America in our timeline are not gender specific, but they still have the gender specific names. Why not just like Scouts of America? Why not just KISS? KISS. Yeah, there were pioneer programs in the United States and Canada and Russia and the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany and really in most European countries. In the 30s and 40s, Scouts and Pioneers were all over the place. And they're still pretty popular. We, here in the United States, obviously focus on the Boy Scouts of America, but similar outdoor club focused or Patriot Club things were a thing all over the place. The fall of Beijing. After days of high-intensity fighting in the capital suburbs, Japanese troops finally scaled the walls of the outer city, scattering defenders and making it further defense of the capital all but untenable. With rail lines in and out of the city thoroughly cut, remaining Qing forces quickly thinned as deserting soldiers melted into the urban population. While Japanese colors now fly over the Tiananmen Gate, the flames at Zhengjiamin send towering columns of thick black smoke into the sky, its sad symbolism lost on the few war-weary population. China can only hope that the city's new occupiers, one of many since the turn of the century, will finally restore some modicum of peace and order. Yeah, the Hitler Youth was a thing. The Hitler Youth was a terrifying thing. Yeah, the young pioneers, the Hitler Youth, and the Boy Scouts of America at the time were very, very, very similar. I mean, it's kind of fucked up when an organization makes you take nationalist pledges and makes you very indoctrinated. But that is kind of the role of the organization the game was just propping up. Venezuela's declared war on the West Indies Federation for this. They, I mean, they have the odds stacked against them right now. They might do okay. And now all the West Indies troops here are reconsidering if they should be here or not. Some of them will relocate. And their border, which was up until now fairly well secured, is not looking so bad for me. American Artists Congress. The American Artists Congress is an organization that has been created to unite artistic people around the country and help promote the arts within America. From traditional artwork to filmmaking, all are supported within the new Artists Congress. It's quickly become a popular organization to show new avant-garde art of the revolution. Their chairman, Ernest Hemingway, has already begun a plan for a series of patriotic publications. Unlike during the Revolution, Ernest Hemingway's appointment to chairman has caused some backlash from artists like John DeBassos and John Steinbeck, who claim Ernest's politics have turned authoritarian in recent years due to his work in producing propaganda for the 1936 United States election. Art for the masses. Yeah, I mean, all of them involve various extensive child abuse. Youth organizations like that are there's a lot of risks associated with them. Rebuilding America. So now we get these events that let us recore huge parts of the US. They're very, very important. We're gonna deal with, who do we want to deal with first? The Federal Resistance, right? Yeah, I need that division organization gone. We're gonna deal with the Feds. Since the revolution broke out, we've accumulated an extensive list of political prisoners who are awaiting trial. Now that the war is over, the time to judge these men has finally come. Although some amongst our leadership believe in rehabilitating the captives, other more radical comrades are eagerly calling for extreme revolutionary justice. And although these choices are very nice to make, I'm not going to pick them because we're going to need political power to deal with all the terrorism that we're frustratingly having to respond to. Mm, okay. I don't think I need to plop down any more civilian factories. Now we're good. Okay, so we should be pretty protected. Normally, I'm not big on invading Mexico, but given that they're national populists, yeah, we're probably going to end up liberating Mexico and freeing their people from the clutches of fascism. But who knows? Really, performance in Hoi 4 really starts going down the drain after 1940, 41, 42. And the focus trees for the United States recovery in this mod take a long goddamn time. Do they have a drug cartel playthrough? Not quite. Not quite. Alright, 39. Let's see. 39, let us get the 105mm M1 or M101A1. New howitzer designs taking advantage of new hydraulic recoil devices and barrels. Now we're already using artillery in all of our divisions. Might as well make it better artillery. Really hope you can take Baja. Yeah, I don't think that you can take Lower California. That's one of the things I can do in Victoria too, and it was a toss-up between playing the Second American Civil War in Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich, or taking Vicky 2 for a stroll and turning America socialist in that. So I might do that next, but obviously not tonight. This campaign's going to take a bit. The Alsace Ultimatum. After months of low-intensity skirmishes and diplomatic game-playing on the German-French border, the two behemoths are poised on the edge of potentially the most brutal conflict mankind has known since the dark days of the Weltkrieg. In astonishing escalation, the Communard government in Paris openly demanded the return of German-controlled Alsace-Lorraine. Seized after the war in 1871 by the victorious Reich. Flouting international norms, a single squadron of French planes flew into German airspace, dropping thousands of leaflets detailing their grievances, much to the chagrin of the Reich's general staff. Such actions are sure to outrage public opinion in Berlin, and even now, mobilization efforts are underway. At this point, it seems unlikely that a second Weltkrieg can be avoided. Originally, the United States in the Mexican-American War, some of the initial claims involved taking Lower California, a bunch of Sonora, northern Chihuahua. Really, some of the first borders were somewhere around here. And it was only dialed back because, well, there were a couple reasons. One, Congress was really concerned at the time. There were conversations about just annexing Mexico wholesale, in fact, but the Congress of the United States during the Mexican-American War were deeply, deeply concerned and terrified at the idea of having this massive Hispanic population that now would have representation. They saw themselves as a white man's country. And the idea of taking in all of these Hispanics into a white man's country was something that they thought would destroy the social and cultural fabric of America. It was very racist why they didn't annex Mexico. So instead, they undertook great efforts to try to push Mexicans out of old Mexican territories here. So yeah, there were plans to take Baja. There were a couple military company expeditions to Baja California, as well as the Yucatan and Nicaragua, to try to annex those places for the United States at that time as well. There were a lot of those movements, in fact. There were some nascent rebellions. And here, pro-America, there were the Red River Colony, I think, here threatened to try to join the United States when the ownership of Canada swapped over from being owned by the Hudson Bay Company to being bought out by Upper and Lower Canada. There was actually a competing bid from the United States to buy Canada, and it was a better bid than the Canadians here put up. But because the United Kingdom bullied the Hudson Bay Company to take the Canadian deal rather than the American deal, the U.S. did not annex Canada. Also, Upper And Lower Canada had revolts in the 1830s, around 1836, 1840, which, if backed by the United States, could have seen these states seceding from Canada and joining the US. There were a lot of fascinating events in North America at that time. Alright, Socialist Republic of Italy has joined. Third Internationale. The Weltkrieg has claimed the lives of countless men from all over the world, and a conflict on an industrial scale, but it appears that even that nightmare could not deter man's lust for blood. After 20 years of proxy warfare, diplomatic pressure, and political squabbles, the uneasy peace between Germany and France has broken down. These two great powers are now mobilizing their armies in preparation for a war the likes of which the world has never seen. New guns, planes, ships, tanks, and deadlier weapons will still see their first use on the battlefield as open warfare begins once more in Europe. For Germans and French now, there can only be one end: victory or destruction. What do you think the next war will happen in the Western Hemisphere? I mean, there's already war in the Western Hemisphere. There's a civil war in the Ukraine right now that's going on in perpetuity. This is technically in the Western Hemisphere, and it's on fire. There's ongoing conflict here. I mean, the United States is on the brink of some pretty substantial political unrest. I wouldn't know if I'd call it a war yet, but it's not great. Luckily, the EU has been a really stabilizing force, but things are kind of iffy in this part of Europe right now. Denmark has joined the Reich Pact. Fall of Lisbon. What? Get him, France! Oh, wow. Wow, didn't even land anywhere else, just directly on the capital. Take some balls to do that. Reports from Lisbon confirm that the Portuguese city has been captured by advancing Communard troops after skirmishes through the Serra de Monsanto and a rapid push towards the mouth of the Tagus River. Portuguese forces put up a stiff resistance, hoping to delay the Communard forces for as long as possible, but were eventually beaten back. The fight for Lisbon was complicated as Portuguese defenders intentionally destroyed Lisbon's bridges, forcing attackers to ford across the large river to fully capture the city. The ceremony was held in the Praça do Comércio. Yeah, my Portuguese is terrible. My rest of my family are fluent. Not me! Where Communard forces call for the surrender of American Portuguese soldiers in the hillsides. Wow! Yeah, just go straight for the heart, France. Love it. Yeah, take them out of the war. Fuck them. Fuck up the Entente, my dude. Hey, Canada. You don't have a lot of people on this border anymore. Like, look at this. 1 division, 2 divisions, 5 here, 5 here. I have 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. We definitely outnumber them at this point. But the casus belli that we get is way, way down the line. I could fabricate a claim on them, but let's just wait this out. Yeah, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out, Luke. Sardinia has capitulated to the Union of Britain. Wow, the Entente's getting wrecked. The Sardinian government had gone to exile as their main forces have capitulated to the Union of Britain, who is now in control of their home area. Struggles between the Union... Beautiful. Portugal was pseudo-fascist in World War II. They remained neutral. They helped out the Allies a little bit, but they didn't join into the war until very late. Italian Republic has joined the Austrian-Hungarian faction over here. It was very complicated. They were... Two Sicilies had joined the Reich Pact. Ugh. And Europe's on fire. Portugal and the United Kingdom have one of the longest, I think the longest lasting military alliances in world history. And they sort of honored that during World War II. Oh yeah, you can pick the federal government when you play the United States and try to hold and protect the old America, but I mean, you do it by enacting a dictatorship, and then whenever MacArthur wins the war, he has to decide if he wants to make it a dictatorship or not. Your best chance for playing a traditional democracy in the American Civil War, Second American Civil War, is playing as the Pacific States of America or New England. The AUS are borderline fascist, and by that I mean increasingly fascist the longer you play them. The Commonwealth get uh, they can go very Soviet, but I haven't. Yeah. Iran has capitulated. Big Ottomans. They're not at war with anyone anymore. Let's see if they release any of these, or if they just keep it for themselves. No, they released them. Good God. Oh, they released Sudan, Yemen, Arabia. You didn't have to let them go, Ottomans. Ah, no, I didn't want to move that to the top. You could have kept it for yourself. The United Front forms. It seems that the Chinese, in their desperation to slow the Japanese invasion of their country, have formed an alliance. Few expected the typically squabbling, quickish Chinese factions to make such a move. Now many will watch their future with considerable interest. Well, I mean, that's not a small front. Good luck. I really do not use that enough. There's so many tools in this that are super helpful if you think to use them. With all the times I get an event that's on a specific city, like Halifax, I could just be hitting this and going to Halifax rather than slowly panning and like, I remember where that is, right? Representatives of both the Entente and Reich Pact met in the Canadian city of Halifax this week, hoping to come to a working agreement and cooperation between both sides in their war against the Third Internationale. While there was initial progress, ultimately the German demand that the French Republic join Middle Europa, their economic union, after regaining Paris was refused and proved to be the breaking point. The French departed Halifax in anger, with the Germans leaving soon afterward, and the conference declared a disappointing failure. Their wars against the syndicalists will continue, but they will do so separately, and while still eyeing the other side as an old and potential future enemy. John Reed clubs throughout the country. A number of literature clubs called John Reed clubs have emerged. They're to help organize writers across the country in promoting literature and reading through local communities. Focus on socialist literature and in particular the corpus of John Reed's nonfiction work. Yeah, the Ottomans, for a century or so, really had a substantial chance of making inroads here, and I mean, maybe further into here, but this never happened. France has fucked this up. They no longer have a port, they're encircled, and they may have a lot of troops here, but having not retaken Lisbon, or Porto, or this, I think this might be a bad expedition. So the way this war typically goes is that this front never moves. It stays completely still until both of them have been drained of manpower. This front, the socialists in Italy tend to get beaten consistently. The Moors in Spain weren't puppets of the Ottomans exactly, but it was like a protectorate kind of agreement. Qing have capitulated to Japan, imagine that. Big scary Japan. Oh, we're demobilizing every day because of this partial recovery from the Civil War, overwhelming federal and long resistance. Gross. Give it the feds. Alright, transformative justice. Although we firmly dealt with the old American elite, there's still a sizable popular movement opposing our new regime. We need to pacify any remaining counter-revolutionary cells and make sure to track down every last infiltrator in our midst before we can finally be sure that we've won. Oh my god, but what is this? This is ugly as sin. Trial of the federal government. With the revolution over, the time has come now to deal with those that fought against us. Charges against, amongst other, former politicians, Federalist politicians Douglas MacArthur. That of seizing the government, suspending civil rights in defense of conservative Democrats. Henry Morgenthau Jr. has appeared in MacArthur's stead, due to his recent exile. Representing the business and social interests of the old regime, Morgenthau stated it was only MacArthur that mob violence against Jews committed by the AFP was halted. Testimony of MacArthur's reluctance to accept extra legal power, and his personal accounts admiring the socialist James Coxey has swayed some. Ultimately, the jury has decided to pardon them? No. Seize and arrest them, lose stability, gain political power, lose manpower, or convict them. We gain popularity, we gain political power, we lose a little bit of manpower. Yeah, y'all getting convicted. You going to jail. Y'all fucked up. You should not have done what you did. Okay. Right now, civilian and military construction, factory construction speed are very, very important. Do we want industrial research speed 10% or... Oh, Bethlehem Steel is just better. Right? Industrial research speed 10%. Yep. 15, 15, 15, 15, and resource gain efficiency. Yeah. Yeah, that one. That one right there, officer. I'll take that. No, Alex, you were saving that... I wanted to save that political power so that we could use it to root out the Federals. Oh well. Russian state has declared war on White Ruthenia, Kingdom of Ukraine, United Baltic Duchy, Kingdom of Finland. Now Russia has made this an even more interesting conflict. Communists to the left, the main fascists to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. Promoting sewer socialism. In the old days of the Socialist Party, successes were measured by how clean your sewer system was. Especially in Wisconsin, where Morris Hillquit made it his campaign promise to clean up the city. In reforming and organizing public maintenance services, Hillquit showed that socialism could reorganize systems without having to redefine or destroy the foundation of the system. The principle of sewer socialism must be taken to the whole of the nation. Now that the chains are broken, many cities, like Pittsburgh, are filled with pollution that fills the skies. Now that the revolution is over, cities all across the country can be cleaned up and modernized. I skipped a line there and read now that the revolution is over twice. Derp. We hope the international community can appreciate a clean sewer system as much as it does a skyscraper. Yeah, the US made a huge mistake in not clamping down in Reconstruction. Basically, it didn't punish any of the people who perpetuated the American Civil War and then left without protecting the newly freed African Americans. And that allowed Jim Crow laws and the prison industrial complex to step in and basically just replace slavery. It was a massive, massive historical failure. A huge letdown. The weight of which that we're still feeling today. And we will be until serious radical reconstruction and wealth redistribution can be undertaken. These things don't just get better over time on their own. Unfortunately. It'd be nice. Wow, I've already been streaming another hour. I'll put in another cut here. I'm gonna keep streaming for... God, what time is it? Probably for another hour. I went until like 3 in the morning yesterday, but maybe not tonight. I have, Tomorrow's Tuesday? I don't have anything going on? I don't remember. We'll play it by ear, but if you're watching this on YouTube, till tomorrow, toodaloo, take care, see you then, bye-bye.